An hour where the apostasia is so plain to where you see this whole, we have apostasia all over the place. That means falling away from the truth. Okay. The whole world is in that mode right now with everything going on in the world. We got multiple hurricanes and cyclones hitting big bodies of land, Asia. We got two headed towards the United States. Earthquakes are still bubbling even more and more and more. We got 7 stars they call comets, but Revelation chapter 1 calls them 7 angels of the 7 churches. And I done told y'all before, 3-eye Atlas converts over to Elah, which means God and active God. Okay? Oumuamua translates in the Hebrew to Yahshua. 2-eye Borisov translate in the Hebrew in the God gene. Not showed up in 2019. I'm going to repeat that. 2 months before they practice Event 201 to destroy the God gene. But we get a lot of people come in the comment section and you not even quoting the Bible right and you want to talk trash. And I knew that this no man ignorant statement of unlearned people was going to start rearing its ugly head. So I'm going to squash it again. And I'm going to keep taking your head offs in the comment section because you coming in here and you swear you know what you're talking about and you're misquoting the word. Period. You're misquoting it. And these people running around here talking about, yeah, but no man knows. That's an ignorant statement that you're making. Okay? Here's why it's ignorant. Because first of all, Satan stuffed that in your mouth because he know that you're not studying. And you know who you are when you come in here and you do this. Matthew 24. And Satan wants you to constantly keep repeating this verse 36. Okay? When you need to be reading 35 and 36 together. Okay? Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. So this is red print, and we know who's speaking. The Lamb is speaking. And this is what I tell people all the time. When you see a but on the next verse, and people don't understand proper reading, and this just ain't got nothing to do with the Bible. This means reading anything. Every word in the sentence has a job. Every punctuation, every comma, every dot, every T, they all have a job. And people, this is the ignorant part of unlearned folks. Because y'all just keep repeating that and ain't nobody did no studying on their own. When you see verse 36 and it says, and it starts off with the word but. But is a continuation from verse 35. And but cancels what 35 is saying. It's saying that, okay, it's connected to 35. But then when people read the but, that day and hour, but what is that day and hour? See, if you just, how do you chew your food? See, if people chew the word like they chew their food, well, I don't know, some of y'all just take a couple bites and swallow. Y'all don't properly, digestion starts in the mouth. You start breaking your food down. Same with the word. The digestion starts with your eyes. And you start breaking things down with your brain. And some people, brain cells are gone. Okay? You can put some fake teeth in your mouth and still break the food down. But I don't know about what the brain is doing. It's totally something different. Heaven and earth shall pass away, comma. And that's talking about the end of the world. It's not talking about, where do y'all get, don't no man know the day or the hour or the rat. Who said that? I'm about to prove that to you. Who said that? Because the Bible don't say that. Okay? Instead of goofy, nasty 501 garbage church where y'all been learned from, y'all need to unlearn that garbage. That's why Hosea 4 says clearly people are going to be destroyed for the lack of knowledge. And that ain't the knowledge of the world. It's the knowledge of God and knowing your word. You don't know your word, you're not going to come on this channel and talk stupid because I'm going to straighten you out. Flat out. I'm going to straighten you out. Verse 36 is talking about 35. But of that day and hour, okay, no man knows, comma, no, not the angels of heaven, but only my Father. Now, clearly, let's chop this up and this ain't no Happy Meal. You're not running through the drive-thru, grabbing a nasty burger and greasy fries. You're going to eat properly. But of that day and hour. What is that day and hour? Okay. It's referring to verse 35. It is the day that heaven and earth shall pass away. That is the day and the hour that no man knows but the Father. Okay? That ain't talking about no harpazo. It ain't talking about no rapture, folks. That is, Satan has a lot of y'all ignorant in your brain, and you're constantly repeating garbage. If you looked at the whole thing, people just want to take half the verse, or you want to take half the chapter, and you're not reading it in full context. This thing ain't got nothing to do with no rapture. This is talking about the end of the world. Okay? Let me show you where Jesus says if you're watching, you will know the hour. Revelation 3:3. 1, 2, and 3. Message to the bride, get yourself together. God does not want, Jesus does not want his bride to be ignorant. Okay, Paul taught the church at Corinth, God gave you his spirit freely for you to search all things and for you to know all things, even the deep things in God. I'm going to show you that, but let's go here. Remember, therefore, how you have received and heard, and hold fast. Repent is the first works. If therefore, hear what he's saying. This trumps, and I don't mean Donald, this bashes that ignorant statement, don't know man know. Look what Jesus tells the church. And this is to all 7 churches. Okay? Therefore, if therefore, remember, if, may, shall are words of probability. If therefore you shall not watch, so we must watch, that's a commandment. But those that run around saying that makes you a commandment breaker, don't nobody know. That makes you slothful in your research. And being slothful is a sin as well. I will come upon thee as a thief, and you shall not know what hour I am to come upon thee. What makes this so powerful right here? It's starting here and here. What is he saying? If you are not watching, you will not know the hour. So who is pumping the narrative that we don't know the hour? Who's pumping that narrative? Because it ain't Christ. And Christ said himself, both is in red print. He don't even know when that hour is, when the world will end. But when he comes to take his bride, he's saying, I'm giving you the hour to watch from Acts 2:17. I'm giving you signs in heaven and signs in the earth beneath. Look up. How you don't know what hour it is if you're not looking up? Okay. He says, if you shall not watch, what is the danger about not watching? You won't know the hour if you're not watching. In which I am to come upon thee. This is talking about him coming back for the bride. Matthew 24:35 and 36 ain't got nothing to do with what he's talking about here. These are 2 different situations, folks. And it is tiring to see grown people with the forethought of a 5-year-old continue to repeat this. And all you got to do is read and study for yourself to show yourself approved. And you're not approved because you're not studied. You want people to eat that filet mignon and then stuff it in your mouth after they done had it in their mouth, all they slobber juices and cavity juice all on that meat, and then they want you to eat it. Why would you want to do that? I want a fresh piece of meat that I want cooked, and I'm going to season it myself. But yet, if you guys keep going by what other people telling you, you're being devoured by the enemy. He's walking the earth seeking those who he may devour. Goes back to Hosea 4. Why? Because you are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. You can be knowledgeable in everything else in the world, but when it comes to the word, don't nobody want to get no knowledge. You just want a fast hookup. Okay, give me the salvation meal with a Diet Coke. And somebody else then cooked it up for you with their nasty hands. When's the last time you blessed your food when you ate? Do you see this? If therefore you shall not watch, I will come upon thee as a thief, and you will not know when I am there to come and get you. This is why the Bible says there's people going to be caught unawares. Why? Because they've already been trained like seals to repeat out of their mouth, don't know, man, no. So if that's in your heart and that's in your mind and your mouth is projecting that, then you ain't doing no research. You just following. You're not a leader, you're a follower. And you following people right into the lake of fire. The Lord is looking for leaders, not followers, folks. And you can tell who the followers are when they repeat that over and over and over again. What does this have to do with Matthew 24, 36 and 35? Nothing. These are two different situations. Jesus told you over there in Matthew 35 and 36, he don't even know when the end of the world is. But he does know when he's coming back to get his bride. Let me prove it to you one more again. John 14 is the number of salvation. In my Father's house there are many mansions. And if it wasn't true, I wouldn't have told you, boo. I go away to prepare a place for you. One day in heaven is as 1,000 years on earth. And when it reaches 2030 from 30 AD, that will be the completion of the church age. 2 is the number of completion. 22. 2, okay? The number 20. Husband and wife, completion. They are one. 2 is the number of completion. And if I go and prepare a place for you, verse 3, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. What does that sound like to you? That don't sound like the end of the world. That don't. That sounds like 1 Thessalonians 4, 16, 17. That sounds like 1 Corinthians 15, verse 50 through 55, when Paul taught the church. Okay? This ain't got nothing to do with Matthew 24, 35, and 36, folks. Jesus said he is the Lord of the harvest. He is the Lord of the rapture. He will come back and get his bride. Okay? Israel, the woman, the harlot, married the Most High Yah at Mount Sinai in Exodus. And out of that union came the 12 tribes of Jacob. His bride started off in the wilderness for 40 years, and his bride will end in the wilderness for the latter 3.5 years of the tribulation. God will protect his bride in the wilderness of Judea. If you go on your map and look up where the wilderness of Judea is east of Jerusalem. And there he will hide his bride, the woman, the remnant, from the face of the devil, from the face of Satan, who chases them there and causes a flood to come out of his mouth. But God will open up the earth, and the earth will swallow that flood, and he will protect his bride there until the end of tribulation. So when you hear the other goofy statement, you got to endure to the end, that's meaning the bride has to endure to the end of tribulation in order to be worthy. Just like they had to endure them 40 years in the wilderness in the Old Testament. It is typology. But if you don't study, folks, and you don't know that, and you let other people feed you like that 501 garbage, you won't know these things. And these verses are in the book. And I've had people tell me, I didn't even know that was in there. How come you didn't know it was in there? We know why you didn't know it was in there, because you ain't studying. Jesus is the Lord of the harvest. He is the Lord of the rapture. He is the Lord of the snatching. Now, let's get to Revelation. Let's get to Revelation 4 and 5. And then go to Revelation 4, verse 5. And out of the throne proceeded lightnings and thunderings and voices, and there were 7 lamps of fire before the throne, which are the 7 spirits of Yah. Okay? When did this happen? That happened at Acts and Pentecost, when the church was born. Okay? That's what we see. Now, go over here to Revelation 5, verse 6. And beheld, and lo, in the middle of the throne, and of the 4 beasts, in the middle of the elders stood a lamb, and it has been slain. When was he slain? He was first slain as typology for the children of Israel in the time in Egypt, when God told them to take a he lamb of no blemish, kill it, and take the blood and put it around your doorpost. Jesus has always been here, even in the Old Testament. I thought I told you to throw 3 Hebrew brothers in the fire. I see 4, and the 4th one asked to be the Son of Man. Jesus is the number 4. 4 is the door to heaven. That's why Revelation 4, the door to heaven opens. Okay? Now let's continue. Having 7 eyes and 7 horns. The horns means authority, and the eyes means that we're watching him take the book of the seals out of the right hand of the Father, which are the 7 spirits of God sent forth into all the earth. Again, that's the church. That's the bride of the Lamb. Okay? Here are the 7 churches. This is the bride. Moses was given instructions from the Most High in the book of Numbers that told Aaron to build this menorah lampstand. And it should stay lit throughout all your generation. Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamon. Jesus is in the middle, Thyatira. Sardis, Philadelphia, and the church of Laodicea, the lukewarm church, which is our raggedy church today. Same-sex pastors, you opened up your church, let the needle of rage in, okay? Lukewarm was an aqueduct that ran through the city, and the water was so nasty to make you want to spit it out. The 7 spirits of each church: knowledge, counsel, wisdom, the Lord, okay? In the middle, okay? Understanding, might, the church of Philadelphia, and our Laodicean church, the fear of God. Let me break it down for you some more. If this be Christ in the middle, how old was he when he died for the church? It's a double entendre here. He died at the age of 33. This menorah lampstand represents him and the bride, which will be standing at the throne in the verses that I just showed you in Revelation 4 and 5. He died at the age of 33. How many churches on each side? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Do you see that? 3 on this side and 3 on that side. That's the age that he died for the church. He put himself in the middle. Okay? So everything here, and then the Messianic folks, especially the Zionists and the Illuminati, used that 33 and mock God. What did Satan tell the prophet Isaiah? I wish to be like the Most High. I'm going to have my kingdom set up on the north side just like him. I'm going to copy everything he do. That's why they do what they do and they play with their numbers, because they're mocking God. Jesus died at the age of 33. And him in the middle, the perfect number 7. 7 also is the number where Aaron would put on the ephod and go before the Ark of the Covenant and fast for 7 days. And he would come out on the 8th day, which is new beginnings. Okay? This is the church, folks. This is what's seen at the throne I just showed you in Revelation 4 and 5. Now let's take it back there. Now we back. Okay? I just showed you, put that in your brain. And lo, in the middle of the throne, there were 4 beasts. In the midst of the elders stood the Lamb, as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God sent forth and throughout all the church. Throughout all the world, which was the church. Okay? And even verse number 6 is coded that way. I just showed you 3 on one side, 3 on the other. 6 is the number of man. Mankind that died, mankind that was saved by the blood of the Lamb. Okay? So the code has always been before you. And then look, we have to be before the throne before the book of the seals can be opened, folks. It is even coded in the verses. Look at verse number 7. Tribulation begins after we get to the throne. And as you can see in verse number 7, and he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat on the throne, but not before. We're back at the throne with him, that menorah lampstand, which is the church. So Acts chapter 2, when you get down here to verse 47, this is where you see the apostles were to feed the church daily, as such should be saved, folks. This is where the scriptures say in Revelation chapter 5, where you just read, the spirits, the seven spirits that went forth and throughout all the earth. This happened after Pentecost, okay? Now let's go back up here to verse 17, okay? And it shall come to pass in the last days, says God, I will pour out my spirit on all flesh. So in the beginning, when the church was first born, by the Spirit, he's talking to everybody during this Pentecost time, okay? And your son and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. And on my servants and handmaids I will pour out in those days, speaking of a future time, my spirit, okay? And they shall prophesy. I shall show you wonders in heaven, three-eyed atlas, okay? Comets, solar flares, okay? We now have 7 of them total in our atmosphere, in our orbit, okay? Not in our atmosphere, but in our solar system, which are the 7 angels of the 7 churches, which are the stars, okay? He says, heaven above, signs in the earth beneath, blood, fire, and vapor and smoke. We've seen these kinds come to pass because there's video of waters and rivers in certain areas in the Middle East that have turned red. The fire, vapor, and smoke are volcanoes, folks, that are erupting like crazy all over the world right now. Okay? So, know your book, man. You can't just be spouting off stuff everybody else is repeating, and you ain't even backing it up to see if it's true. And then you're going to run into somebody like me. I'm going to take you to the educational table, and we're going to get you hooked up. Okay? Now, let's get into it before I end this video. And I turned to see the voice of that spake with me. Being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks, the menorah lampstand, right? Which he mentions up here in verse 11. I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last. What thou seest, write in the book, and send it unto the 7 churches, which are in Asia Minor proper, Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamos, Thyatira, and to Sardis, and to Philadelphia, and to Laodicea. Okay? This is the bride, folks. Right now, we're in the message and warning stage, as I just read to you in Acts chapter 2. You better get it together, he's saying, because if you don't, I will blot your name out. Remember, the first works is to repent, and I will pull your candle. If you don't, I'm going to pull your candle from its spot, blow your light out, and throw you into great tribulation. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, like one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with the garment down to the foot, and girt upon the paps with the golden girdle. Okay. Now, 16. And he had in his right hand 7 stars, and out of his mouth went a sharp 2-edged sword, and his countenance was as the sun that shined with strength. And when I saw him, I fell down at his feet as dead. And he laid his right hand upon me, saying, Fear not, I am the first and the last. Okay? Now, look at verse 20. The mystery of the 7 stars that you saw in my right hand, and the 7 golden candlesticks, the 7 stars are the angels of the 7 churches, and the 7 candlesticks which you saw are the 7 churches. I'm going to leave it right there. I am confident with strong conviction that we at the end of the road. We see these signs being played out in our solar system. We see these signs being played out in the earth. We see the rage of man from the rage needle that's going to take place when these 6 seals are open. The rage of man is going to happen all across the earth. And then the great tribulation begins at the end of chapter 6. Who shall be able to stand? The rage of man is going to be set up perfectly because of what was done to people beforehand, okay? And when you talk about verse 4, when that red horse go out and the spirit of peace is taken, and they that should kill one another, and there was given to him a great sword. We already there. It's just that the will of God is still on the earth and the protection is still on the earth, but the rage is there. It's being held back. Some of y'all enraged just how y'all talk and view stuff. Nobody wants to use their spiritual common sense at all anymore. We just straight to the rage monster. And when the protection is gone off this earth, that rage monster is going to have full control, and they're going to be knocking each other off. Ain't nobody, it's going to be hard for people to survive that time when it comes. And then the great earthquake is coming later on in Revelation chapter 6. Every mountain and every island will be moved out of its place. Millions are getting ready to die and don't even know it because the earth is shifting. These solar CMEs, these other 7 comets that they call, which are, it's not a coinky-dink that you got 7. And then we talking about the 7 churches, 7 lamps of fire, the 7 spirits of Yah. Everything is right here before you. If you're looking at spiritual eyes, you will understand what I'm talking about. But if you're not, as the Bible say, you got the spirit of the world, and man, you're not going to understand because you're not using the Spirit of God. Finally, in this teaching, we've been talking about, don't no man know. Well, you don't have the Spirit of God. We have received not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit which is of God, that we might know the things that are freely given to us of God. If you have the Spirit of God, he's saying you should know things by researching them, okay? We should know them. So we know that the word says that in verse 10, 1 Corinthians chapter 2, but God has revealed these things to us by his Spirit. For the Spirit search all things, yes, even the deep things of God. If we're walking by the Spirit, acting by the Spirit, he's going to lead us into all truth. It is impossible for a Spirit-filled person to walk around with dumb brain talk. Don't no man know. Then you are not a part of the 5 wise. You are a part of the 5 dumb. And you're going to go back to the world looking for oil, and by the time you come back, the 5 wise have booked up with the king. You better get you some spiritual knowledge and business and stop acting worldly and talking with a worldly mouth and a worldly tongue, because you are going to be destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Deuces.